Hello everyone and welcome back again. This is going to be a short and brief update, just to sort of update us on what's been going on with this tube stock. Some of it's nice, some of it's not. A good service on the tube, we'll see. Right, as you can see from this one, let's move this camera around. This was the one that wasn't running. As you know, we had a lot of problems with that one. Okay. Yep. But let's have a little look at it. It's all not what it seems. Let's have a quick look over here and I'll show you what's been going on. This is the actual central line train. This is also the one that was converted as well. Sorry. This was the one that was actually converted from the EFE static model using the Toshido motors and the chip that I put in as well. The chip was an 8-pin. Let's keep that in focus. And as you can see, I bought another chip for it, a Hornby chip, thinking it was the chip that was actually failing because it was a cheap chip. So I bought this Hornby one, and basically what I did, switched it on, and as soon as I went to put power through it, that was it. This thing just smoked, and that was it. A puff of smoke, and it's gone. So that's another one just gone. Complete waste of money. What I've done, further inspection, because I thought it was shorting out, looking into it, as you can see, I've cut these wires. This motor here is not actually working. When I looked into it, this motor is completely burnt out. Now this Toshido motor, a lot of you have been telling me how they run really hot. Now that is an understatement. The thing is almost on fire when you run it, and what it's done, it's completely burnt this out. This one, when you put a 9-volt battery on, this one runs, it all works. And it would probably run with another decoder in it just on this motor. But the problem is with the heavy chassis that they give, this is a die-cast chassis and it is really, really weighty. Plus dragging another 3 of these coaches along, it's just not going to suffice. Now, I'm not buying another one of these just for it to burn out. And even if I did buy one, it'll probably run, because I've got to the bottom of the problem now. But how long's this one going to run? If it runs, I don't know, double the amount of time and has double the amount of lifespan that this one had, it's still not worth the money. So I'm just not going to bother with it. I'm not bothering at all. I'm not going to buy another one of these Toshido motors. And to be quite honest with you, it's just not a very good conversion kit. That I don't care who it upsets, to be honest with you. I'm just talking off my experience with it. You know, you've got the problem with it, the possibilities of it shorting out as the bogeys term, which could be done. You could probably I don't know, put some sort of insulation or paint them with nail varnish, black nail varnish or something, to stop the wheels arcing out on the chassis there. But it's this is the problem. It's just not capable of doing it. It just cannot deal with the weight of this and pulling those others. Maybe with a plastic chassis and not this die-cast one, if I can come up with a conversion for that, it might be a lot better. But as we stand, this is completely burnt out. It's just knackered, so that's a complete waste of time. What I might do is just strip the motor out of it and have it as a free running bogey, and then, or you can buy just the bogies from Metro Models. Well, Phoenix Precision Paints, actually, who's teamed up with them. Now, this, I just can't be bothered with it. I'm just not in the mood for it no more. It's cost me 2 decoders. It's cost me money getting these Toshido motors put in, and it's just been a complete pain, to be honest. So it's going to go on the back shelf. I might bring it out in well, I don't even know when, but it's going to be some other time in the future where I'm going to look at doing another conversion and maybe trying to change it for a plastic type chassis. I just don't know at the moment. It's just sort of upset me. So how's it running then, you might be asking? Well, I think you've worked this one out, that this central line train is actually just a central line body shell. And what I've done, I've actually stripped it out. Let's try and get this camera put up so I can show you. I haven't actually stripped it out. What I've done, I've took the original EFE shells off. I've also unscrewed the lights, if I can get this. I've actually unscrewed the light strips as well. And I put the light strips in here, and as you can see, it works absolutely perfect. Now, because I've done my own little sort of conversion, well, in this original one, you've got these long lugs, these long sort of poles. And you've got to trim them down, obviously, to this size so that they fit on the running Bachmann EFE chassis and bogies. So what I've done is as I cut these down, I used them to make these, well, replicate these tiny little lugs, and I put them tiny little lugs on the actual roof of the central line train, and quite simply just took the light strip out, put it in this, and bombs away. As you've seen, it's running and it works absolutely brilliant. Now, what I'm doing is, I'm not going to get rid of these, because if I get bored of running a central line, the 59 stock, then what I can do is put this 1938 stock back on, and it's just a matter of simply just changing the body shells over, just putting the 2 screws in the lights, and this will actually replace that. But, so why did you do it, I might hear you ask? Well, to be honest, like I said to you before in the previous video, I'm sure I mentioned it. I did mention it actually. This tube train has got a lot more meaning to me than this one. You know, this 1938 stock, the Bakerloo line, it went out of service in 1988. The final ones run in 1988. Now, I was around and travelling on the tube without my parents, because I was old enough to go up the West End of London and so on the tube. I still don't remember, like I originally said, actually travelling on one of these. But this one, however, I do. Going through Stratford, travelling to Hainault, and like I said, the actual, the header on it, I don't know if I call it the header code or whatever, does actually say Hainault. So what I've done, I've chosen to use the 59 stock at the moment. And like I said, if I get bored, I can go over to this one. It's just a matter of swapping over the bodies. It literally is less than a 20-minute job, 20 minutes, half hour or whatever. Okay, so there you go. So what went so wrong with the other one, with my conversion kit, wasn't just about the electrics and burning chips out. It was a little bit more than that. If you look at the chassis with this static kit, you'll see that what you have to do is actually buy these Metro models bogies, and then what you have to do is chop the ends off to make them, you know, sort of fit in, make them look realistic. And then what you have to do is cut the original centre mounting point out and glue it onto this bogie. Now, it sounds pretty straightforward, and to be honest, they are pretty solid as well. But you see, the problem you've got with this is it does turn left and right. It's very, very limited as well. That's what might have been causing all the derailments. As you know, I just could not stop this derailing. Constant derailments. When I looked to see if the bogies were turning enough, it probably wasn't, and was probably arcing out on the die-cast chassis as well. But the problem you've got is not the movement of left and right so much, but it's the actual vertical, the up and down of it. There's no up and down at all. It can only turn left and right. It won't move up and down whatsoever. Okay, and it is just completely it's just completely different to the one that's on the EFE Bachmann. The Bachmann one, I'm not going to take all the train apart to show you, like on over there on the rail tracks, on the railway, sorry, because it's a little bit difficult to sort of clip it all back together, and they're quite delicate, the clips. And do you know what? Why the old central line's running? Just let sleeping dogs lie, let it just happily trundle round the track. But like I said, the Bachmann bogies bounce up and down. And also another thing is the Bachmann bogies as well, completely different to this one, because they've got pickups on every single wheel. Now it's probably to operate the lights, but the coaches are connected together. Whereas on these ones you get these metal bars. You get the metal bars, and then as you look underneath, it sort of, you've got it there, and you can see it just sort of clips under there and then clips onto the next one. So there's no electrical current running through any of the coaches or passing through the wheels. So there you go, multiple derailments. I couldn't get to do a single lap. My track land's not great, so what I've done some fourth radius set track in a loop, and then I tried to run this round, and same thing, just kept derailing. Every time it went over one of the joints in the track, it will just derail. So this was the problem. It would never run round the track. I don't know if it ever does. Anyone that's converted one of these, as always, let me know down in the comments below if you've even got a solution to this, because I don't just want to sling the thing out. But I'm thinking maybe another chassis, get more movement in these bogies and try and come up with a much better system than that. So it's got a little bit more sort of vertical flex, if you like. And the 1938 stock I clip back on there if I'm not got bored with the 59 stock and put it on there. Okay.